Difficult conversations are hard to have. They create conflict. I tell you, I don't like conflict. And so I will tend to avoid difficult conversations. I used to wouldn't do it at all. I avoided conflict at all cost to keep the peace. But there's one price too high to pay for peace, and that's with my self-respect. So today, when things come up, I have learned how to communicate effectively. Now, it's really easy for me when someone else is talking. I can validate, I can listen, but there's certain situations that I don't do well, and it might end up being an argument. Well, difficult conversations are hard to have, especially if you know you need to have one. So there's some things you can do to help with this. Often when we need to talk to someone else about what's happened or how it's affected us or whatever, we focus on their behavior. You did this and you did that. Well, one of the things I say to avoid is the you statements. So I have to use I statements. And so how does that change? Well, I have to focus on how I feel and what I need. And that's not always easy. I didn't really know how I felt. And sometimes it would be, I feel like you. I feel that you. Well, those are opinions. Feelings are, I am afraid. I am sad. I am upset. I feel unimportant. I feel, and it's a one-word thing. If you use that or like, it's an opinion. And so the best way to enter these conversations is, I feel when you, and then I need for you to. And when emotions are involved and all that upheaval, that's not easy to do. I get upset. So I have to take a time out and diffuse my emotions. When you diffuse your emotions, there's not as much steam or angst involved. So the first thing I do when I know I've got to have a difficult conversation is I pray about it. And then I figure out how I feel and what I need. Maybe journaling. More comes out when you write about something. Because sometimes there's some underlying feelings. There's some past stuff. And so journal about it. Do I have a part in this? Maybe I had expectations. Or, you know, things that I didn't understand. You know, I'm judging something I don't really know what the other person's going through, so I may need some clarification. And I can ask for that. I need clarification on this. I ask myself, am I trying to control or change another person? And oftentimes the answer is yes. And if that's the case, I'm wasting my time. I cannot change another person or control another person. They have their own will and they're going to do what they're going to do. So this inventory helps me figure that out. Or maybe I need to make them understand. Make them understand what their behavior's doing to me. The only person that needs to understand what's going on is me. I need to understand what's going on. Also remember the scripture. I have to get the log out of my eye before I can address the speck in theirs. So an inventory for me and to look at my stuff before I have the difficult conversation is real key and real important. So those are some things that I do firsthand. And then I try to do that until a lot of the emotional stuff around the incident, infraction, whatever it is that I need to have this conversation about is not there anymore. So those are some things to remember. The best thing to remember is what not to do. Don't use sarcasm. Don't use you statements. Don't bring up the past. Try to stay on topic. If the other person brings up past, you can say, this is the issue here, and let's talk about this. Try to stay calm. There's also negative comparisons. Don't compare them to some, well, you know, you did this, it reminded me of my ex, blah, 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 all of that. Don't compare. Don't compare. And then, you know, when you use those you statements, you did this and you did that, then it's judgment and they feel judged. So these are some key things in communication that's real important. Communication is not easy. It's talking, it's listening, and it's decoding the nonverbal cues. I don't like to discuss anything or go over anything difficult in text. Messages or email, they get misconstrued real easy, real easy. And so when you sit down face to face, you tend to be calmer. These difficult things come up. Spouses, partners, kids, friends, co-workers, even your boss. I've had to have some difficult conversations with my boss. And the main thing I remember is I ask myself, is this honest and is this kind? Because honesty without kindness is cruelty. And then I ask myself, was this asked for? Well, no. But then is it necessary? Is it necessary for me to do this? And if it is, then I go through the steps that I talked about before. Pray about it, write about it, diffuse the emotions, really get down to what I need and how I feel. And then try to convey that. And oftentimes the discussion goes better. The most important thing that I do is I pray about it. And I ask God to prepare the other person. And sometimes they bring it up. That's the way that things work out for me and are best for me. You can give it to the universe or whatever your higher power, or however, other people are none of my business. They're God's business. So if you like this, please subscribe, hit like, share if you know of someone that needs it. And remember to be you on purpose.